Ryan Smith, thanks for joining me. You just walked off stage from Silicon Slopes Summit, and I've got to say I was a bit emotional. The end there, that was powerful. How was the experience up there?
It was it was awesome. Ryan, that was Ryan and our first time, like really getting an opportunity to speak together. Talk about our conversations, our passions, our thoughts, and not just our thoughts, but we're speaking for so many others when we have the microphone. And so it was dope to be able to speak to Utah, for the first time for me, definitely.
Yeah, there's not many events like this where you're bringing the business community and leaders together and kind of have it all in one spot, and then the people that are tuned in online. And look, I mean, I'll be honest, we didn't really prep a lot because everything we were saying is exactly what we talk about. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of had a conversation and let everyone else listen because it's the same stuff we talk about. There's only one story here. Mm-hmm. It's not like there's all these different things we're doing. It's like, no, we have one mission, and that's what Dwyane signed up for. It's what I signed up for. It's what Ryan Sweeney and Mike Cannon-Brooks and our group, which we love, is like they're all in on.
I love it. So at the end, one of the things that was so powerful to me is you talked about this pride, right? Like, where do you see Utah going in the next decade or whatever? And Dwyane, you specifically were like, I want Utah to be proud of who we are, and the growth that can come there. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not from this state, right? But everywhere I go now, I'm pretty much from the state. Like, it's like, hey, Utah, hey, you Jazz, hey. And those conversations that I have with people from Utah or fans of the Jazz, that's how I want everybody to feel and talk about this state, right? And so it's a pride, it's a proud, kind of feeling to walk around and know you are a part and from a place that do not sit on his hands. Mm-hmm. Ryan Smith is not sitting on his hands. Dwyane Wade will not sit on his hands. And you want to stay that the kids feel and families feel like I want to be there because they're not just sitting on their hands. They're about change. They're about growth. They're about inclusiveness. And so, that's the message and that's the goal.
Let's scale back a little bit because I think, Ryan, actually, you purchased the Jazz at Summit last year, basically, right? I know you talked to Gail Miller there. Can you talk about that, how you acquired the Jazz? Then I want to hear about Dwyane's story as well.
Yeah, so I talked to Gail here, and she kindly said, good luck, son. Like, we're keeping it in the family, but it was actually a chance where we got to sit down in a room like this and say, hey, like, let's have a real conversation about it. At the time, there was another team that had approached us, and we wanted to do it. And I wanted to talk to her before because, you're here at Silicon Slopes, you're seeing everything that's going on. Like, it was hard for me to replicate not just the Jazz and being local, but the movement that's happening in Utah. I mean, when I know the movement that's happening here, and if there was any way to be a part of that, even if it wasn't majority owner, just a little bit, I would rather do that and be here and help lift. And I just felt like it was part of it. And then obviously she called us over the summer, and then kind of the rest is history.
And then what was your thought? You're like, Dwyane Wade, I need him on board as a minority owner, as an owner. What?
No, it wasn't my thought at all. I like.
You just showed up at his house.
No, it was like. So first of all, like one of the passions that I had, I said, look, we're not. You can have 26 owners of a team. We're not doing that, right? I called Ryan Sweeney at Excel Partners who back Qualtrics, and I said, Sweeney's like, I'm in on Utah. And I made one more phone call to Mike Cannon-Brooks, who's a founder of Atlassian, $100 billion tech company. He's in Australia. He loves basketball. He's like, I'm in on Utah. And they were both like in on Utah. And I was like, all right, well, that was easy. Game's locked. You guys are never going to get your money back. And by the way, we might ask for some more. It's kind of a hard proposition, but like we're all super. I mean, we're 38 to 42. Like we're the youngest group. Like it was just cool how that happened. So I was like, whoa, like it never works out like that. And so for that to happen, and then we were sitting here and I don't know, we were 2 or 3 months in, and someone called me, and we had known each other as some of his best friends or my friends. And so like we'd always been around, and Dwyane called, we talked about another team, and then I said, where are you? And He's like, I'm in LA. I was like, hey, I was fly out in the stock more tomorrow. And I called Ryan Sweeney. I was like, is this crazy? But like, don't you think Dwyane should be with us? And he was like, what? And then we were like, I was like 50% sure it was a good idea. But like, I sat down with Dwyane and like, we were talking through it. And I think probably from his side too, it's like, he couldn't probably talk to another group because we're kind of all speaking the same language and we're the same age. And like, it's like, it'd be hard to shift over to some of the other things. And it was the same way for us. Like, we were like, let's go do this. And then, I know Dwyane goes all in on anything he does. And I go all in on anything I do. And, Ash was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I was like, when Ash says it's good, it's good. Like,
okay, so I want your perspective. You're like, is this guy crazy? Or you're like, I'm in on Utah as well?
No, you know what? It wasn't I'm a person who, I'm all about learning. And so once Ryan decided to fly to my home, I mean, we know how this guy's schedule is. We know what he's building, and I just wanted to sit down and listen. And I had questions, about Utah, because I never really had an experience here that I would say that I remember, And Ryan's passion about Utah, his passion about the change that can occur, like he talked about out there. It's other places that you can go and fit right in, maybe make a little difference. But here you can make a big difference. And, my family and I sat down and thought about that. We thought about the difference that we can make in this state. And you just need one person to believe in you, or you need to believe in at least one person in his life, right? And I sat back and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, but I believe in this guy, right? You can feel the energy, you can feel the passion, and you when you're around him, you can feel the empathy in him, and he just want to do good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy just wants to do good by his state. And I was honored for him to, and Ash to even open it up to me to come and be a part of this. I understand. He worked hard at Qualtrics to get to the position to be able to buy the Utah Jazz. This is a lifelong, like, he's a Utah Jazz fan his entire life. And to be able to bring me in that circle, I mean, I know it meant something. Like, why? There's no need. He don't need that. And so I knew at that moment when he was at my house that it was bigger than Ryan Smith. It was bigger than Dwyane Wade. And in a sense, it's bigger than the state of Utah. This is, this microphone that we have in front of us right here goes through Utah, but it goes to the entire world. And we both have an opportunity at 39 and 42, and Ryan's 42, and Mike is 41 or something like that, to create some real lifelong change with the platform that we have with the Jazz. What am I doing? Just sitting at home, watching basketball? Let me get in there and let me do something. And so I was excited to get here and do something.
And Utah has the landscape for big change. We've already seen change in the last decade. I mean, you guys talked about the housing market. Obviously, the technology world, we're here at Summit, is booming here in Utah. What does it feel like to be part of that now that you've got a little bit of roots here in Utah?
Trying to understand it. This is what's happening here is pretty darn cool, right? This is not happening everywhere. And so, like, in our 4-hour drive, before this 4-hour drive we had together, Ryan was taking me down the expressway.
Where were you coming from?
I said you're not gonna come into Utah just to be part of the Jazz. Like, I said, I took him on a prom date.
All right.
Like, we literally
we
went from Provo all through Salt Lake. We hit every stop. We went around. We went all the way up to Park City. We went back
the weather
down.
Changed immediately. I was like, what
yeah.
Every 10
and I
minutes.
was like, now let's talk about joining Utah. Like, because if you're not in it for Utah, then let's not do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how great the business, the tech, everything else. Like you have to be in it. And he caught the vision. And I mean, we're gonna be doing this for a long time.
There is pride in being from Utah. I think that there's a lot of pride in our state, and we're growing. And people that love Utah, we love it. I mean, does it get much better than this? This is why I think it's such a great mecca for all this tech stuff, is you're here in the Valley working hard with all these amazing businesses, and then look at your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
We've got this beautiful place, whatever you believe in religiously. I mean, this is a spiritual place, and there's a lot of good stuff happening here. Your son also just joined one
Yes.
of the Utah Jazz affiliates, the Salt Lake City Stars. What does that feel like?
A lot, like I told Ryan yesterday, just a lot of emotions. As a father, my son has a dream, just like many kids in this world, and for us to be able to devise a plan and put together a plan that we feel can help him get to his dream, it's some on one end that's exciting to us, but also too, man, this is just this shows our commitment to Utah. You know what I mean? Like we want to do it here, bro. Like we want to develop. I want my son to develop under us and everything that we're creating. I always say that, like, right now I'm sitting here as the face of my family, but my son very quickly will be. And so to have him here, to have him, getting the opportunity to live out a childhood dream, and understanding the work that has to go into it, and everything that comes with trying to be a professional. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to get an opportunity to come here. He's never spent any time in Utah, and I'm excited for him to come and integrate himself into this state and this community, and and have a great year. And hopefully, we all can be proud one day if his name is called in the NBA draft. That's the ultimate goal. And so this is another step in a long journey as an athlete. And so this first step that he's taken as a pro is here in Utah, and we like the sound of that. We like how it feels. And we're excited.
Congratulations. We're excited to have him here.
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan, what's it been like owning the Jazz? I mean,
rock star status.
Yeah,
No,
I can't imagine what this feels like.
No work, all golf.
Is that true? I can't imagine.
A lot of work.
The NBA never sleeps. I mean, the NBA
Neither do you.
Never sleeps.
And so, I mean, it's learning. It's like trying something new. It's invigorating. It's different. Everyone's got a different style. I mean, I think the one thing Adam Silver told me was like, hey, don't check everything you learn in tech at the door. And so for me, that was a hall pass to do what we would do in a tech company, or like what we did with Silicon Slopes, or what we did with anything else. And so, but there's a massive responsibility that we feel of this role. And Gail tried to tell us, she I mean, every day that goes by, I have so much more respect, and it's not like I didn't have a lot. I have even more and more for the Miller family for 30 years of operating in the league. I mean,
man,
crazy what they've done, and not only in Utah, but what they did for the league in general. I mean, as far as founding members of the NBA is how I view that, and I hope we can have something to do with the next phase of it. It's the 75th year anniversary of the NBA, and it's just cool to be a part of it. And, but we're not territorial about it. Like we're like, hey, come, everyone, this is your team. Like,
please come.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And that's like, we're really secure in our group and like who we are and the roles we play. And it's like, no, there's, our ultimate goal is a championship, and then many more after that. Like that's what we're after, and there's no extra points for going alone.
I think you guys are doing something really cool with that. You mentioned a little earlier, it's kind of like a younger group owning the Jazz and kind of that fresh blood. You're coming in with all this tech experience, which is awesome, and maybe a new twist on how to run a team in the NBA. I think is really cool. And just what you said is like, this is our team, and I think Utah really feels that. And Dwyane, welcome to Utah, but
thank you.
This is our only has been in the past our only professional team, and so we have a lot of pride behind the Jazz. Look, I mean, right? I should have addressed this earlier. I got my jersey on, and I think it's really cool what you guys are doing there. So we're going into the season next week. You guys stressed? How do you feel about these games? No,
I'm actually just glad it's going.
I'm excited. Yeah. 9 months as owner, and I've been in like 6 months, and so this will be our first full season. And we had a little something to do with the team for the first time, and we told each other first time we was like, listen, we can't mess this up. Like the Millers did such a good job of, this organization has been riding, smooth, throughout, and one of the most wins that in the NBA history, right? And so we was gifted this, and it's like, this is awesome, but like, don't screw it up, right? And so our whole job is like not to get in the way, is only to make sure that the players, the organization, the state, can all feel the change and feel the vision and feel the excitement and the energy that we're trying to bring here to the state. But we don't got to do nothing but sit on the sideline and just
Bite your nails.
this guy right here.
You stress case?
No, I'm just getting acclimated.
I mean, your face is not selling it, Ryan.
I'm getting better. I was better. I mean, it's only preseason.
Yeah. Okay.
You're sweating and pacing on the sidelines.
It's not, and it's not easy. Like, first of all, it's not easy. But
What do you mean? This guy's like up here. Like,
yeah, it's not easy. I'm just cracking on
it's
my guy.
hard though.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But like, I just the biggest thing is like we can't take it home because there's nothing we can do. Like,
You're like, put me in.
Nothing
Coach.
we can
Come
do
on,
once they're on
Quinn.
the court playing. And they don't want me in there because I can't do nothing no more. But I'm thankful for the opportunity. And everyone in Utah. That obviously I've only had this microphone a few times to speak to people in Utah, but I want to thank them for accepting me and my family, and bringing us in with open arms. I felt that the first day that the ownership was announced and I walked out on their court, it felt right at that moment. It's a nervous decision.
You don't know what it's going to be when Dwyane walks in. I mean,
yeah.
No one's ever seen him that way, and it was just like standing ovation. I mean, that's awesome.
It was. I mean, I've been in Miami for 16 years. It wasn't an easy decision just to now. In the next 15, 20 years, like some players may forget I even played for Miami. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Dwyane, Utah Jazz," you know what I mean? Like it wasn't an easy decision from that standpoint, right? Like we all have things that holds us and we're connected to. But when I walked in the arena with Ryan, we was walking to our seats and just the ovation and the love and like going in the arena and walking around and talking to all the fans and supporters, I was like, this feels right, And so I just wanted to say to everybody out there, like, thank you for accepting my family and I with open arms. And even if you haven't, just keep them open. Just, don't close them all the way. Give us an opportunity to grow on you a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I will speak on behalf of all of Utah because I'm the one that has the microphone. We're honored to have you here and welcome to our family.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.